You know whether it is indigenous to the patient if you serve that prescription. But how will you know if you don't update your knowledge? You know what is wrong what is wrong with the patient more than the doctor, because you stay more time with the patient than the doctor. You just come look at what and then just write whatever you want to write. It is now you that have time to deliberate with the patient and know exactly what is wrong with that patient. But you cannot effectively do that if you don't constantly update. So please, I consider for this, I beg you, take time to update your knowledge. It is for your own good, so it's good for the patient. Then staff well-being. Promote staff well-being, recognize their contribution and foster a positive work environment. As you work in charge, the welfare trust members, those under you should be of concern. We should not just post them around and then when we are not thinking about their welfare. Because that's where you will get your respect. And that is where, they say respect is reciprocal. That is where you will earn your title of being a leader. What? If you are neglecting your staff welfare, honestly, I can bet you my last story that your staff will not respect. Take it or leave it. They will not respect you. How can you just expect me to just be coming, just instruct me to do this, I did it, do that, and then when either I'm sick or something is disturbing me, you don't care. And it is becoming very common these days. I know in those days when we were just employed this staff nurse in production, our intelligence will find when we are needed, they will always try to come and you look so pensive today, what's wrong? And they open up. And they give you advice because they'll give you another advice that will help you. But in these days, everybody's on his own. It's still unfortunate that our senior nurses, sorry to say, or not, please, I was asking you, I don't take care. I don't, let me try to explain it in English. As you are moving along on the road, what this means that when they say, when you look around, you know whether you are forging ahead, you are following the right path, and then whether to adjust if you are not following the right path or. So what we are doing is, we've been moving on, we've been managing the world, and then we've been telling ourselves we are the custodian of the world. But the negative feedback we are getting from the society is something to concern. So it's a concern to us. And that is why we carefully choose this topic, so that we will address ourselves the way we should address, so that we will come back to the right path. We'll try as much as possible, even if you are not going to, do them for at least, we should try to adjust. So that is why I borrowed that house where I don't interfere. Let us try to adjust. Let us try to adjust. What I'm trying to say is that it is very common these days that our senior nurses find it so convenient to be discussing their personal issue with some staff. Honestly, they take some staff as their companion instead of their professional colleagues. And the kind of damage that thing is doing to our members. When you discuss your personal issue with the substaff, how are you sure that substaff is not going to discuss that thing with somebody that is not supposed to be and innovative? Identify area for improvement, evidence-based practice to enhance patient care. You should always be on the lookout for what is the trend, what is the latest trend of nursing management, and try to implement it. Don't just be that type of nurse manager that will say, this is how we used to do it. And then if our young nurses come up with certain ideas that they've googled up or they have been taught in the university, they come up with it. Don't just, say, this is, just try and relate to them and try, let share ideas and see if what they are talking about is going to improve the patient care. Once it is going to improve the patient care and it's according to the WHO standards, that's what we implement. But we are very dogmatic in this hospital where we don't try to, we don't try out new innovation at all. I remember a safety protocol, develop and enforce safety protocol to prevent adverse events and ensure patient safety. Now, it is not only how you manage human resources in the world that matters. Also, how you manage the environment equally matters. Now, talking about safety protocols, you discover that in some wards, if you go down literally, move around now, you see some wards. There are naked wire everywhere. These sockets, the switch, this is something that the socket is all out with naked wire pointing out. And it's very dangerous to the patient. It can even be dangerous to the nurses in the ward and other staff. It is your duty to know this is dangerous. Again, another thing that I think the managers are here, I'm happy they are here, and I believe they'll take note. You see, as you stay in the ward, you should always be mindful of the fact that there can be fire outbreak. Is there any fire extinguisher available in the ward? If they are available, the ward judge should constantly test whether it is functional. And sir, if it is not available, let's say it should be part of the budget of the hospital that fire extinguishers should be provided wards. Because it's part of the safety protocol. And if it is,
let me address it right now. All fire extinguishers and contested by our hospital management, but that was this concern. That's good. And also we went to fire drill. It's in the pipeline, so that whenever fire breaks out happens, everybody knows what to do. So we also plan to do this.
that's good news. That's good news. That's good news. Now, staff management and development. Staff training and development. I think
Number 3.
Item 3.
okay.
Incident reporting.
Incident reporting and analysis. Encourage incident reporting, analyze incidents and event changes to prevent. It's supposed to prevent future occurrence. It's not supposed to prevent, not to prevent future occurrence. So now this is another area where we have some control. Our wards, sometimes you see there will be maybe the ceiling fan is just dangling. It's just dangling. Or you see somewhere, or there is no bulb in the wall. And
there is no.
wait.
Sometimes we are addressed that.
He said sometimes.
Everybody, you can't see the
I said earlier on, here before, but in the course of this presentation, there are certain things that we will say. You feel that so you see why I made that
way for a long time. Then when he left, our first one, thank you.
this
All of us.
it's just a presentation. So that presentation. So if it is already done, Fine and good. But a situation may come where such will occur. And all the nurses that are here, you are not 100% sure that they are going to be here for the rest of their life. However, if they are transferred to some hospital and such is happening, they will reflect back with this lecture and then try to amend. This is the problem of the lecture. Same here. Next slide. No. Leadership and communication. Sorry. Strong. You are confusing me. Don't worry. Leadership and communication. Strong clinical knowledge, speaking friendly resource allocation, ensure that resources immediately start to grow and prepare out and protect the patient. Because it looks like but it's not. It's not. Very simple. Kind of. You see, just like we discussed, you must have a very strong clinical knowledge. That is why it's important to you to constantly update your knowledge. I will say it again and again. Let us go back to it. You don't even need the book anymore. You have it in your handset. You are managing all the information that you are managing into what? As you work in charge, look at the commonest one. All of them you should be able to. They should be at the thing your finger tips. Go and rephrase them. Don't just imagine I will have read it. I will read it. Know it. There are innovations. There are new drugs that are out. Try to Google them and find out about them. Listen. Now, talking about resource allocation. So we are going to talk about budget tonight. Because I know this is where the problem is. I don't know whether every year, every budget year, there is a request from the hospital management about budget from the wards. Is it being done here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep thinking that every ward presents their budget. Look around you as you're looking at August from September. As from August, you are supposed to look around your ward and see what are those things that is lacking in the world. What are those things that is lacking in the world? I don't have video apparatus, I don't have thermometer, the sheet is not enough, all these things, and the work in charge, make it part of the budget. Make it part of the budget, submit to the HOD. Now the HOD will now, give that and submit the totality of all the resource budget for each ward. We will now compile and submit to the same as this is the budget requirement from the nursing department. You understand? Am I forgetting? I've already talked about the
Supply chain management.
Well, I think we need to applaud the hospital. Let us applaud it. I think personally, I must confess that I appreciate the supply chain management in this hospital. They are really tried. So what we should do, only thing what we should do is for us to by making sure that those things that are not available as the hospital is supposed to supply. You should write them. Write them 2 weeks before the one in stock is finished. Always do stock taking. Take your stock, find out which and which you don't have, then request for the one that you have and submit to the management hospital. Then continuous improvement. Regular audit and evaluation to assess what performance in the different areas of the You regularly audit yourself. I do know that in the past, we used to have, while our state here, if I carry out what is called bodies in each hospital. Now, in collaboration with National Military Council and the State Council, the State and National Military Committee organize or instituted a nursing audit committee. And what is the function of those nursing audit? Is for them to move around and see and audit the performance of nurses. What are they able to do actually?
At the hospital level, at this hospital.
And the feedback, since feedback from patient staff, you see, in those days, what this means is that you should go as you have carried out your nursing activities to the patient. You should be able to discuss with the patient how far, how are you feeling? It's just feedback, let them know. See what guys get. Understand, try to interact with the patient and know whether your nursing management is impactful. Innovative practice, encourage, we'll discuss about that. We'll discuss about innovative practice. Environmental cleanliness, maintain a clean and safe environment, including temperature regulation, proper lighting and waste management. This is, nobody is saying as a nurse you should use, you be the one to the substance, the cleanliness, the security. Have it at the back of the mind. They are under you. During the work, during the morning shift, the work in charge is responsible for their activity. During shift, any nurse that is on shift is responsible for their activity. So if the work is not clean, if there is misbehavior, rowdiness in the work, the nurse are because if they are not making proper use of them, of course, they are not going to do what they are supposed to do very well. So take note of that. Next slide. Next slide. We are going to be responsible for the nurse in charge of education. Assessment of planning, direct patient care. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, leave it like okay. Safety and quality. Ensure that patients feel safe and high quality care and reporting any concern facing to the relevant authorities. Collaboration. Now, let me stress on this. Any incidents that happen during your shift or maybe during morning or whatever, if you adequately report in writing, we'll have a situation where the patient is on blood transfusion. Collaboration with other healthcare professionals, such as doctors, therapists, and senior to ensure that patients receive comprehensive care. We are not in competition with anyone. Please, we need each other. What we are after is total patient care. So we need to collaborate and work as a team. We are not in competition with anyone. Our role is clear. We are not provide our role, then the other team provide that. So, but there is a point of convergence. We need to collaborate. If you are not being given the power to carry out certain things, if you really want to help this patient, write to inform the person whose responsibility it is for him to come and carry out that thing for that person. That's it. Okay. Patient advocacy. For patient rights and interests, ensure that their voices are heard. You are the patient advocate. Maybe the doctor has just said this and that, but the patient does not want that particular thing that the doctor has recommended. You as the patient advocate, it is your duty to call the attention of the doctor and say, the patient is complaining about this and that. If there is need or way to adjust, the doctor will now adjust. But if you just say, I talked to Nehru, is it no documentation? Maintain accurate and up-to-date patient record, ensuring that all care and treatment are documented correctly.
Please, This paper will go around. Those we are going to create a group so that we're going to post every presentation. So that's phone number. We need to get a phone number. So if you need to be getting the presentation on weekly, the intent presentation, the normal staff presentation, then you put your number here. This will be going down. Only number.
Name and number. Name and number.
Okay, the presentation. This is another
WhatsApp number.
this is another very important aspect of person care in the world. And this is another area where we are failing woefully. Listen, oh, please listen carefully about this one. This is another area where we are failing woefully. As a nurse, you will work from morning till night or till evening. Your back is paining you, everywhere is paining you. But unfortunately, all this work that you have done, yourself, you feel, I have done no. You have not documented. If you have not documented, work done is
Zero.
Next. Now, this is another part of this. Crisis management. Anytime you are leading, it's almost true now. Anytime you are leading to a people, always have it at the back of your mind and there is going to be crisis. Yes. There is always going to be crisis. So as a ward manager or as a ward tax, you should know that there is every possibility that you're going to be crisis. So how do you manage those crises when you do? So crisis preparedness. And I didn't want to go in this way, I didn't want to go deep. That is why I just want to show it. So, but some people might even want to understand what is civil crisis. Crisis is an unwanted event that can happen, whether in a group, in an organization, or in the world. So when it's an unwanted, and normally crisis do happen suddenly. So how do we manage such situations? Develop a crisis management plan. Establish a plan outlining procedure for various crisis scenarios such as staff shortage, sickness, non-availability of certain vital equipment due to failure, or patients' emergencies and mass casualties. All these things that I mentioned are all crises. You are tuned in the shift, and suddenly your partner did not show up. How do you manage? If you are in accident emergency ward or in labor ward, you do at the headquarters of HALS, and your partner is not available. How do you back of the mind? That is why it's important. The ward managers should always have a regular meeting with the rest of the staff. Because if you have regular meeting, you will have developed a crisis management plan whereby if one person is sick, you know what to do. And as the ward in charge, you must always have it at the back of your mind that you should be ready to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice a lot. Because that leadership function has placed that body on you. We discussed about non-availability of certain vital or emergency mass casualty, especially in the accident emergency. How do you respond to mass casualty? What do you do? All this is to plan ahead. Then conduct regular training, which we discussed about that earlier on. Identify potential risks. Equally discuss about that. Then responses. Activate the crisis management plan. That is, if you have it in place, you just activate. Assess the situation quickly, but quickly assess the situation and determine the best course of action. As you meet crisis, if you are not prepared for it, you will not be able to carry out these responses. So that is why it is always good to plan ahead. If this thing happens, what are we to do? Discuss it with your neighbor and your subordinates, what you are to do. And you should just matter of activating it when they go for next slide. You are joking. What kind of something?
Communicate effectively.
Communicate really a person with self patient. Next slide.
Okay, next.
Next. Next. Yo. Next. Tools. Tools for effective word management. One round. As you know, the arts, you should organize word round. One of the days, I don't know whether it's still happening or if I'm not, I don't move around as much as I used to do. I don't know whether our nurses still conduct word rounds. Because ideally, as a nurse, you are supposed to organize your own word round. It is not only when the doctor comes that you just, decide to and tell me the documentation of patient care, including record of treatment and progress and outcome. We discuss about that extensively, about documentation. We can keep on discussing about it because that is the bedrock of our being in the world. If you are in the world, like I said earlier, we are always saying we are the owner of the world. But document-wise, we are just visitors in the world. Two of us. Inventory management, effective management of supplies and inventory, and ensure availability and minimize waste. That is another area that we are lacking. Sorry if I'm saying this. And another area that we are lacking behind this. We don't, document the inventory. What do we mean by this inventory? All those things, all those resources that is available with us in the world, we are supposed to have an inventory of each and every one of them. Those ones that are working, those should be separate. We should have a book for that. The ones that are not functional, we should also document and report to the management this and this are not working. For them to, if you don't communicate, you are the ambassador of the management in the world. If you don't communicate the happening in the environment in which you work, how will they affect the change that is needed for the world to be, manageable? So proper inventory and then try to minimize waste. Don't waste. So and then this idea of just hiding certain things in the store to discourage people. You will bring equipment, the cheap. You try to just lock it in the store. I can't understand that. I maybe at the end of this exercise, I'll personally ask the question: what is the idea or what is the rationale behind the child just working certain vital equipment in the store on this? The benefit of all this story that you tell, all this the benefits. Now let's just try to look at it. Now the benefit of effective word leadership. That is word leadership. When I say word leadership, word management, if you are, like I said earlier on, once you are, I said all nurses by the burden that God has placed on them, they are all leaders. Because if you are not the one in charge, at least you run shift. If you are running shift, you are automatically the leader of that station. You are the charge. So what is the benefit of effective word leadership? Improve both patient outcome, high quality care, reduce mobility and mortality. Now, if you carry out all these instructions that you given out earlier, it will reduce the amount of mobility in the world. Do you get?
Yes.
Like the example I gave of the patient that for some blood transfusion satisfaction. Positive work environment reduce turnover and improve job satisfaction. If you provide quality leadership, the people working under you will be having good job satisfaction. They will enjoy working with you, and then they will enjoy their work because they know somebody they are in charge who will really serve as in charge. You know, they keep on saying enhanced teamwork, collaboration, good leadership enhanced teamwork, collaboration, communication, and mutual respect among teams. You see, as a leader, you should collaborate with the rest of them. Nobody's an island. Don't think that you know everything. Always try to seek the support, understand, even if you know, sometimes, in order to gain the confidence of your subordinate, throw certain questions to them. Just hear their opinion. Even if at the end of don't strike out what they are saying. No, it's not like that. Let them say what they have to say, and then when they are going to tell them your own view in a diplomatic way, so that by the time you are interacting with them, they will know that you respect their view, and then you will not give that respect. But if you want to be authoritative all the time, you lose that respect, and then the whole world will suffer. The whole world will suffer for it. Take their advice. At least, even if your own is superior, for once, take their own. Try it. If it fails, you will now say, I have this idea, but because you say so, that's why I want you to try. So let us work on ongoing quality improvement, and best practice. It will always be continuous. Let us look for ways in which we are to improve on what we are doing. By demonstrating effective leadership, world leaders can create a positive and productive work environment, promote high quality patient care, and support staff. This is self-explanatory. Self-explanatory. Next slide. Okay. Now, group work. This lecture was presented in one of the zonal. And then at the end of the day, I just have a big group work. So this group work, I don't think we are going to do it, but maybe when the next presenter has presented, then we'll now look at this presentation. The next one, sorry. Then we're going to, so maybe I should flag the way. I should come again. Let me just read the group work. Now, actually, during that presentation, during that group work, we divided the class into A, B, C. So, group A, during evening shift, in the neighborhood, as a leader on duty, you are very busy about to conduct the delivery of the pregnant baby. Suddenly, a man approaches you and informs you that his wife is in the vehicle, with baby head almost out of the bad canal. What will be your approach to this situation? So, this is a very common thing that is used to happen. Very common. I remember a case that happened that people have to almost go to court where somebody slapped our midwife because his wife is about to deliver. Then group B, as a nurse, you took over the female medical ward to form hypertensive patient. The patient discover the PT apparatus is not functioning. What to do? You have 4 hypertensive cases. You took over the ward, no PT apparatus. What would you do? There is a case of RTA.
Silent, please.
Silence, please. In the answer emergency, there is a case of RTA. Your security partner is nowhere to be found. What do you do? So, you are under RTA, and then the person that you are meeting with is nowhere to be found. No communication. What would you do? So, what they do, this group would deliberate among themselves and then go and do